Hi, today we're going to look at 5 words and phrases in Hebrew that non-native speakers often mispronounce. If you're a Hebrew learner, there's a good chance you're making these mistakes. Watch this video to make sure your pronunciation is spot on. I'm Noya from Opanoya, here to help you sound more like a native Israeli. Mistake number 1. Hayita versus hayta. You masculine were versus she was. This is such a common confusion among Hebrew learners. You masculine were hayita, hayita, 3 syllables. She was hayta, hayta, 2 syllables. Hayita, hayta. Mistake number 2. The pronunciation of the plural form of borrowed words. To be more precise, the location of the stress in those words. Hebrew words in their plural form tend to have the stress on the last syllable, like in sfarim, books, talmidim, students, bakbukim, bottles, and because of this, students of Hebrew tend to put the stress on the last syllable also for plural borrowed words. Words that aren't originally Hebrew, but this is wrong. For example, where would you put the stress in the plural form of these borrowed words? Video, clip, toaster, concept, dollar, telephone, million. If you're like many other Hebrew learners, you would probably think videoim, clipim, toasterim, conceptim. But the correct pronunciation is videoim, clipim, toasterim, conceptim, דולרים, טלפונים, מיליונים. Mistake number 3. No problem. Students tend to pronounce this en baya, but the word problem has 3 syllables, be'aya, not 2. It's not baya. To non-native speakers, it might sound like Israelis are saying baya because of natural Israeli speech, in which there's no distinct articulation. Most Israelis don't bother to separate sounds when they speak. Ayin can turn into a vowel, and often there's this smooth gliding between sounds or syllables. So instead of be'aya, most natives go be'aya, be'aya, be'aya. And no problem tends to sound like en baya, en baya, en be'aya. Now you might say, okay, Noya, so if you're saying that it sounds like Israelis are doing what I'm doing, what's the problem? I can keep pronouncing it that way. But here's the thing. There's a slight difference between the non-natives in baya and the natives in baya that an untrained ear might miss, but to the ears of a native speaker, it absolutely stands out. And then they might not understand what you're saying or simply know right there that you're not a native speaker. Mistake number 4, life. How do you say life in Hebrew? If you said chaim, you may be calling your next door neighbor, but you're not saying life. Chaim, manyanim. Life is pronounced chaim. The stress is on the last syllable, chaim. Chaim, on the other hand, is a man's name, and we also use this pronunciation when we say cheers. Lechaim, to life. But if you're just saying life, chaim. Hachaim yafim, life is beautiful. Lastly, mistake number 5. What is the Hebrew vowel system called? Very rarely I have a student who gets this right. When my students want to talk about the vowel system in Hebrew, they usually call it nekudot. But nekudot only means dots, and we're talking about a whole system here, not just dots. The Hebrew vowel system is called nikud, nikud. That's it for today. I hope you learned something. Check out my other videos about words and expressions you're saying wrong, and make sure to subscribe to keep improving your Israeli Hebrew.